Welcome to Forfellinus Belysning.
Welcome to Forfellinus Belysning, illumination from the ancestors, guiding your path today.
Every day, someone's little girl, daughter, sister, girlfriend, fiancé, wife, cousin, mother, auntie, grandmother, great-grandmother, elder, disappears, shattering a family, a community, the world. There is something we can all do. Remember them.
God Morgan, and happy Money's Day to you. Today we embrace the power of Monday or Money's Day to begin a new adventure of experiences within this physical realm that teaches us, that guides us, that helps us to become a better version of who we really thought we were. Before we get started today, I want to say thank you to all of you who have liked, followed, and subscribed on whatever channel, whatever technology you decided is best for you, whether that be the kwwp.org nonprofit radio, whether it be the podcasts, all the audio podcasts, or whether you're watching us on video on any of the video platforms, including, and most importantly, my friends, my family, my kin, at newrealitytv.com, a streaming channel dedicated to a spiritual perspectives that can help you, that will resonate with you, that will find you where you are and help you to move to that next level. So do check them out wherever you are. And for those of you who are looking for kind of the answers that which I've been given anyway, through trance, through psychic channeling, through all of the connections that I have made with the spiritual realm, with our ancestors. You can find them available in books that I've written, that you can find all of them listed on my website, author.akoutlaw.com, and there you can find all of the ones, including the newest one we have out, which is Rewriting Your Emotional Recipes, a wonderful book that puts together the thought process that each of us go through every time. Now again, this is a visual that was given to me by my ancestors in a way to represent those different steps along our thought journey. So it offers some insight as to not only how we think and how that thought creates emotions, how the emotions then turn around and manipulate thought, but also it hopefully gives you the understanding of where that is within that process that allows you to take control, to make choices, to make decisions, to be a part, to be an active part of your thought process and your emotional creation, because you do indeed have a lot of power in that matrix. So do check out the book, Rewriting Your Emotional Recipes. Not only does it provide the visions that was given to me by my ancestors, but it also provides you with a workbook, step by step, how you could identify these places within your thought process where you can take control and move forward and kind of reclaim some of your mental health, your mental space, so that you're in charge. All right? So do check that out. Again, that's author.akoutlaw.com. So today I want to talk about choices. I want to talk about decisions. And we make a lot of them every day. We kind of go in and out of our lives. We a lot of interactivity with things going on around us, influences that are trying to change us and manipulate us in some way, whether it be the ad on the radio that tells us that we need a new car even though we don't, or it's a political ad or a health ad, particularly here in the early part of each and every calendar year. You have the people who are struggling with their New Year's resolutions. So these fitness places are going to be influencing you. They're trying to help you continue that mission by subscribing to their service or their gym or whatever. So lots of influences are coming into us from all around. Now, not to mention, we also have our own influences, our virtues, values, and belief systems that we have that are manipulating views and visions and sounds and smells and tastes and touch that we receive every day. And they are manipulating them in certain ways. So if we feel a certain way, say about a new car as an example, and we say, my car is fine. It drives, it goes, the heater works in the winter, windshield wipers work so I can see in the rain, headlights work. We're good. All the windows roll up, right, so we can stay warm. All of these things, it's fine. It gets good gas mileage. It's fairly reliable, whatever the case, right? So we have that value and that virtue in our system, in our beliefs, right? And then we're influenced. We receive the influential energy of the car dealer who's trying to sell us a new car and saying, your car is just not good enough. If you came down here today, we could get you hooked up with a new car, right? We hear it all the time. This is really a wonderful example of how influential energies come into our vernacular every minute of every day. And these influential energies are attempting to change our thought process from what we believe. We believe our car is enough, it works, it goes, it does what it's supposed to do. That's our belief. But yet, here's this influential energy attempting to manipulate that. And it, of course, comes back to how strong are we in that belief that we go, you know what? No, thank you. But thank you for offering, right? How hard, or do we say, if we scrambled around some finances from over here and we borrow from Peter over here to give to Paul, and Paul would then give us, and we could get a loan and we could get a new car, right? So we see the influences pushing us in a multitude of directions, or we see ourselves saying, no, I don't want it, thank you, right? We're making that choice. It's a choice that we're making. We're making based on our belief system, right? And the power of the car dealer, the salesman, is how hard are they pushing, right? Because I'm always entertained when you go to the dealership. You're going to buy a part for your car, and you go to the dealer, and there's salesmen there. We call them the sharks, right? And they're standing there, and their job is to lure you into not buying that part. You don't need that $5 part. What you really need is a new car, right? Isn't that what they're there for? So they're working on influential energy, influencing you to now drop the $5 part and buy a new car. How strong is your belief systems? How hard do you hold? I just need the $5 part. That's it. Or do we just say, I don't even want to chance it. I don't even want to get near those guys because I don't think I have the willpower, so I'll just order the part off eBay and Amazon. Right? This is what we do because we're managing the influential energies. And we know that we may succumb to them, right? Maybe we've had a pattern. We've done it before, and so we've now established ourselves as believing I'm really good, but if I have a few extra dollars in my bank account, I could be swayed, right? So I'm not even going to chance it. I'm going to go down there, or I'm not even going to go down there and chance it. I'm going to order the part off of, online, right? This is a methodology at which we are dealing with managing influential energies. Now, there are a lot of influential energies every day that we may not even recognize. We may be driving along the road, and we're driving and we see a person riding, and they're riding to work, and they're on their electric bicycle, and we go, if I had one of those, I could reduce my gas mileage and, maybe get to work faster, or if it's a short commute. Or I could clean the air, right? Then we start rationalizing. We start applying all these answers that may or may not apply. It's all a matter of managing these influential energies. But what happens more often than not is that we find ourselves living in this inauthentic self. So we're trying to build this persona that we're going to use for society, for particular club maybe, or a group, a certain community. We're building this persona, and that persona now says, well, wait a minute, that would help us. That would help us to be received, and we'd get the thumbs up from our club, from our community, and that would be great because that would do our self-esteem good, blah, 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 blah. The reality is you're living outside your authentic self, and when you do that and you accept influential energies, the decisions that you make then are based on that inauthentic self. So we're not using our virtues, values, and belief systems. We're using this pre-made one, this faked one, right? So we're riding along one of the my ancestors referred to it as the well of the self. We're going to ride along one of those walls. We're going to scrape up a lot of silt, right? So what happens is we do this thing, we do whatever it takes, and then we feel guilty about it. We feel shame. We feel something, right? That may or may not be what we were looking for. And if we do feel what we were looking for, accepted, it may be short-lived. It may drive other things. Why? Because we're living outside the authentic self. Living within our authentic self, who we are, our virtues, our values, our belief systems, provides us with a level of protection against influential energies. Yeah. Every now and then I work with young people, and when we talk and they say, oh, it's this and that and this other thing, and I say, well, are you being honest with yourself? Not with me. I don't. It matters not to me. Your influence to me means it's just something I have to manage. But are you being honest with you? Are you living within your authentic self? Is this a virtues, values, and belief system that you have separate of your friends, separate of any authority figures in your life, separate of all these things out here? What are your virtues, values, and belief systems? Now, in most cases, for young people, I would say in mid-20s and below, they're going to struggle with understanding who their authentic self is, because they're not, in most cases, in most societies today, it's not one of those things that we're coached how to do. We're not given instruction as to how to be yourself, how to just be you. We're always measuring up to someone else's bar, moms and dads, aunts and uncles, schoolmates, teammates, if you're in sports or whatnot. So we're always being measured against someone else's bar. Not to mention, then we have societal bars, which are then set in different levels that we have to try to meet. So it's a very confusing time for young people as they try to understand what their authentic self is. What values, virtues, and belief systems do they have themselves? Not what they've borrowed, not what's been given to them, but what do they have themselves? This is a struggle. It's an ongoing struggle. And we will spend most of our lives trying to understand it. Now, even when we get to adulthood, or I call it adulthood anyway, and we've established some level of authentic self, it's not a one-time thing. It's not that we're going to do it on a Monday and it's going to stay all week. That's not how it works. We have to establish these virtues, values, and we have to maintain them. We have to constantly monitor and pay attention to them. What are our virtues, values, and belief systems? And what we're going to find is that they're going to change. And they'll change, I won't say frequently, but often enough to where they need to be maintained. Right? So certain values may shrink, certain values may expand, they may thicken, they may alter. And when you see me making these kinds of adjustments, the way my ancestors described our virtues, values, and belief systems were very akin to rocks being put inside the well of ourself. Then the bottom of this well is a stack of rocks, and these rocks are in all different sizes, shapes, and formations. And they're dropped in there. They're dropped in there by other people with whom we've given some level of authority. And so those virtues, values, and belief systems now become a part of the way we interpret reality. So if our authority figure has given us a virtue or a value or a belief that this is the way it should be, when it's not that way, we struggle. We have conflict, and then we have to resolve that conflict. We have to either bite down and create the conflict, again, growing and shrinking that value within ourself. Is it that important? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. It's, again, your virtues. And they're going to be unique for each of us. It's not a one-size-fits-all. My virtues, values, and belief systems will never match another human being as long as we live. All right? So that's just not going to happen. We have ancestry that are giving us some of these values, our virtues and belief systems, long before we have a name, long before we walk and talk and make messes within our diapers. Long before that, our ancestors have already tied themselves to our thread. So it's just, they're woven in there, right? So think of ourselves as being kind of woven into the weave, if you will. Super important when we think about our lives that some of our virtues, values, and belief systems may not apply anymore, right? You may say to yourself, man, am I born in the wrong century? Have you ever said that to yourself? Of course. We all have. Why? Because this is the virtues, values, and belief system that were handed to us from our ancestors. It's still on our thread. It doesn't mean it dictates our life, and it doesn't mean that we have to be that way. This is where we get into generational emotional management, where we say, you know, that might have worked for you in your lifetime, in your time context. It doesn't work for me today, so I don't want it anymore. And so this is, now we're going to shrink that rock at the bottom of our well. All right, so we are in control of that. We are in direct control of that, right? So there's nobody else with whom we can blame. Sure, a lot of other authority figures in our lives are tossing rocks into our well, but we have the option. We have the choice. We can make the decision to dive into that well, grab that rock, pitch it, shrink it, move it, whatever. We can do all kinds of things within that emotional management at the well of the self. So that's up to us, all right? It's up to each of us to manage our own well, to manage the values in there. All right. Well, as always, we call upon the god Mani that the Norse recognized within the moon. And we call upon him to help us, to guide us, to give us direction, and to determine for us what is of value in today's lesson. All right. Today's rune is Ingus. Ingus. Ingus is a wonderful rune, particularly for today. It represents gestation. Taking time for us, time for the self, time to recognize that information that we're receiving each and every day, and to grow ourselves, to learn how to absorb what we want, to discard what we don't need, to discard what's harmful to us, to just grow in the right direction. So this is a wonderful rune to have today. Again, Ingus. Ingus. Wonderful rune today. All right. We need to take a very quick commercial break. When we come back, I want to talk about putting this information that we've talked about here today, talking about putting it on the road for you so that you can take it and go with it and learn from it, and hopefully begin your journey to embrace harmony and peace within you. Not worrying about what other people are. Worry about you, right? So we'll be right back after this quick commercial break.
Then Sheared turns myth, memory, and modern minds into bold prints that change a room. See today's feature pieces and more with a link in the description.
It's happening.
It's in the air. The time is now.
We're all waking up.
We're waking up.
We're all waking up.
It's all shifting.
New vibrations.
It's you.
It's you.
It's me. It's all of us.
Together.
A new time.
A new day.
A new energy.
A new energy.
New reality.
Awaken with us.
Awaken with us.
Awaken with us.
NewRealityTV.com.
Light the morning fire. Blackout coffee, roast bold. Clean flavor for long days and late edits. Grab your bag. Use the link in the descriptions below.
These words are stirring something heavy in you. You don't have to carry it alone. Sliding scale spiritual guidance with sessions outside normal business hours is available through the Alaska Hoofbeat. Visit akulfhednar.org/guidance to book a free discovery session.
All right. Hey, welcome back, and thank you for taking that quick break with us. As always, I am deeply touched and moved, and I feel like absolute family and kin when I bring up New Reality TV. NewRealityTV.com has a plethora of perspectives along our spiritual path that can help you to evolve into your next level, whatever that looks like for you. All right. So remember, our spiritual journeys, our physical journeys through this lifetime are as unique as we are, and we will face many different challenges throughout our existence. So it's great to have all of these different views, all of these different understandings, and these different perspectives. It really helps us to recognize the challenges from a different perspective. So do check them out, NewRealityTV.com. You can find them in your browser and just visit there and take a look at everything there. You will not be disappointed. All right, today's rune, of course, Ingus. We've talked a little bit about Ingus and what it's there to do. It's it's really for interior growth. It's helping us to understand that we're going to grow. And how do we do that? We do that by making sure the values that we have are what we want. So how do we put that on the road? Well, quite simply put, we got to figure out what those are. In modern technology, they talk about a phrase called baselining. And baselining is where you kind of look at your situation and you go, okay, this is what it is right now. Right? So before I make any changes, before I make alterations, before I make modifications, this is where we are today. That's called baselining. Right? So the greatest way to think about a way forward as far as understanding the challenges that are coming to us is to baseline the self. What are your virtues, values, and belief systems? What do you believe? And why do you believe it? And when we talk about virtues, values, and belief systems, the first is to identify what the rock is, right? So what is our virtues, values, and belief systems? What are they? Here are the rocks. And then we have to evaluate how big they are, right? So we say, why? Why do I believe that? And the longer that we can carry on a conversation about it and telling ourselves, well, you remember when Uncle Bob told us this, and Uncle Bob wasn't 100% sober. He was kind of meandering around, and well, Uncle Bob, as wonderful a man as he is more playful than he is serious. Well, so now, what does that do to the structure of the virtue, value, belief system? What does it do to it? Well, of course, it's going to shrink it a little bit, right? Because, well, how much value can we put in that? Now, when grandfather sits on the bench with us and he tells us about the values and these things that we need as warriors of that culture and moving forward and doing the right thing, and he's speaking honestly and with his heart, what does that do to the value? Well, it increases it, right? Because if grandfather lived his whole life with that value, then there's value in it, right? And so we're going to now increase that rock. Well, why do we believe it? Well, we believe it because grandfather believes it. And grandfather has tons of experience. And so how much value do we put in grandfather? It then determines the size of the rock. So we ask, what is it? Why do we believe it? And then the final question is, how strongly do we hold it? That's the last question. And the last question, how strong do we hold that value, virtue, or belief system, determines how much resistance it has to influential energies. Remember, we're taking influential energies all the time. And so how resistant is it to that? Right? So those are the first couple of ways that we can really put this information on the road today to help us find a better mental space. By identifying our virtues, values, and belief systems, ours, and our authentic. So this is coming down to being completely honest with ourselves. And what is our virtues, values, and belief systems? Not the role we're playing for work, not the role we're playing for maybe a relationship, maybe some community group, some other thing. Us. Looking down our well, what are those rocks that we hold in our well, our authentic self? So by identifying those, we can now begin to actively manage them. And most importantly, we can see the effects when influential energy is attempting to unseat one of those rocks, changing one of those rocks. We can now take control of that and say, no, I believe this value, this virtue, or this belief system because X, and X gives me a strength and a size that allows it to alter then the reality at which I am interpreting into the way it should fit into my life, right? So I would recommend making notes of this, right? Because again, as I mentioned, they're going to change frequently. And so it's good to kind of keep up with them. Maybe journaling them is a great opportunity to kind of keep track of what virtues, values, and belief systems. And again, you're not going to get them all at once because you can't think of all the things that are going to ring through them. So make notes of them when you can. Write them down. That way you can come back to them and say, why do I believe this? Right? And what would it take to unseat it? Okay? So today's exercise, again, just simply making notes of what are our virtues, values, and belief systems that we hold today. What are they, and why do we hold them? Let's start there, and we'll work through the week and trying to figure out how to best maintain those things to give us a better mental space. All right, my friends, I wish you the very best Mani's Day. We will see you again tomorrow, where we will embrace the courage of tear and talk about how we can be honest with ourselves, how we can just embrace that honesty. Remember, authentic self there in the middle allows us to be who we really are and who we are supposed to be. So remember, it's always good. All right, my friends, love and light, and we will see you again tomorrow morning.
Fulfilling us. Una. Hjälp oss med. Magnify. Tu för og. Kaliot.
If what we've touched today hits something raw for you, you don't have to carry it alone. We offer a sliding scale spiritual guidance with sessions outside normal business hours. Visit akulfhednar.org/guidance to book a free discovery session.